When my guest tonight chose to leave school at the age of 16 to concentrate solely on golf, he was told only one man in 10,000 makes it as a pro golfer. He responded, "Then I'll be that one." Sir Nicholas Alexander Faldo would go on to become one of golf's all-time greats, winning 6 majors, holding the #1 ranking in the world for 98 consecutive weeks, and setting the record for the most Ryder Cup wins of any player in history. But before he would end up dominating the world of golf, did you know he was born in the back bedroom of his parents' home, walked away from a golf scholarship at the University of Houston after just 10 weeks to turn pro, and went without winning for over 2 years while he restructured the swing that ultimately propelled him to the top. Tonight, we'll learn what makes this undeniable icon who he is. A man who once said, "The word is control. That's my ultimate, to have control." Please welcome World Golf Hall of Famer, Sir Nicholas Faldo.
Thank you, thank you.
My friend, thank you.
Sure.
Have a seat. I feel, I gotta be honest right now, like I'm interviewing James Bond.
Oh, well.
I mean, you have that look, right? Do you get that a lot, like the swashbuckling Brit that's...
Let me smell your breath, Miss Moneypenny. Have you been drinking? Something like that. Let me get me cushion comfy.
Yeah, I want your back, I want your lumbar fully supported.
Oh, yes.
For this interview. I mean, right from the beginning, when I read your story, it's a hell of a story, but I see an only child that was really well protected by parents who gave him all they could give him. Is that accurate?
We didn't have a lot to give. You know, that was, how far back do you want me to go? I mean, I heard you mention...
You can go a little past this.
This little past, I don't remember, yes.
Do you remember that dress you were wearing that
Yeah,
day?
but well, you're right. That is a girl's 90. I think they thought I was going to be a girl. I guess I would have been Nicola. I don't know. So I was born in Wellingarn City in a 2-bedroom semi. My dad was a unqualified accountant. He worked at the foundry. I mean, they didn't have a lot. I mean, I did ask my dad how much the rent was when they moved in there. The rent was $2 a week. Born in that back bedroom with the doctor and the midwife. Being an only child, I had this great back garden, and I could entertain myself all day long. And I had a bucket, I had a ladder, and a shed. And those were my 3 toys that I had when I was a kid. None of all this, you know. And so that was my entertainment. There's great pictures of me sitting in the bucket or up the ladder on top of the
Yeah, we had that picture of you, like, it looks like you're literally stuck in the ladder.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I mean, that looks like hours of fun.
Exactly. I had a great garden out back, and I learnt to play and entertain myself. I had a couple of mates around. I had a giant bush in the back garden, or bushes, and then across the road, it was called the Woods. It was probably only a couple of acres, but we called it the Woods because it was deep and dark. We were scared to go down the far end when you're this high, you know, you're growing up. And that was back of the steam trains used to come down the railway line. So that was great if you heard a steam engine coming. You'd run down and go and see an old steam engine go through and that sort of thing. So,
what's the sense that you get, maybe then and now looking back, about how you were surrounded? Tough love, sweet love?
No, I think, back in that time, you didn't come from a family that were huggy or anything like that. I mean, saying for your parents to say that they love you was quite rare. That only happened later in life when your mum actually says she loves you. You know, so we weren't lovey, that sort of family, you know. During
this time, though, you know, you think about, well, the great Nick Faldo, he's a 6-time major champion. He was obviously born basically not just in a pretty dress, but with a golf club in his hands. That wasn't the case at all. I mean,
not at all.
You were swimming, cricket, soccer, you were playing everything.
I played everything at school, and I loved it. You know, from 11 on, I did everything. As you said, swimming, basketball, and we did soccer and rugby. I was a sportsman looking for a sport. We didn't have television then until I was 8. Which was black and white. I got colour TV when I was 12, which was awesome because we used to watch Batman in colour. You remember when he goes zap, zap, and pow.
Yes.
All that, suddenly that's in colour. So how it all started was I'm watching the Masters.
In color.
In color.
Which, if you're going to watch any event,
you've got to watch it in color.
You have to watch the Masters in color.
Absolutely. And that, you're right, it was the color. So I saw these green trees. I didn't know anything much about it. Honestly, didn't know much about golf. And I saw Jack Nicklaus and in his yellow and all this sort of thing. Jack didn't win that year. It was no way back. This is 1971. But that was the inspiration for me to literally... I came to my parents, Mum, next day, I said, oh, I want to try golf. They said, we don't know anything about it, but we know there's a club on the other side of town, Welling Garden City Golf Club. And he said, well, we'll go and get you some, we'll book you some lessons. So it's hilarious. My mum said, first deal was we have to have a haircut before we can go to a golf club. You know, this is now posh, you know. So she got her best basin out the sink, you know, put it on my head and cut it around it. So headed off to the golf club and went in there, and the assistant was there, Chris Arnold, and said, right, how do we get started? He said, we booked 6 lessons. We booked 6 lessons. And I'm like, right, I'm ready. He said, no, the first one's tomorrow. I said, oh, OK. Come back the next day. Started with my first lessons. And so...
But golf is kind of, as you said, it's posh now. Now you're over you're all over at a golf club, and you're getting a haircut. We're going to make you look like you belong at the golf club. But this was something new for your family.
Very new, very new. And then once I got going, you know, I kept it quiet at school. I didn't say I was a golfer.
What was it, and Jack Nicklaus in particular, that got you? Well,
you know, it was really the moment that I then went out and played or practiced golf. My neighbor gave me a couple of clubs. He gave me a 7 and 8 iron. I went down in the bushes, and you rummage around and find golf balls. I found about 20 golf balls through the bushes. My mum, being a dressmaker, sewed a practice bag. I had a little bag, and that was it. So I used to head over to the field, the school field up the road from me, a different school, and I used to go down the long jump, you know, the line on the football pitch, and put these balls out, and there'd be the long jump pit down there, right? And so I'd had something to aim at. So I'd hit these balls at the long jump pit.
Which is filled with sand?
Sand, yeah, just with sand. Yeah, so I used to hit balls in that. And I used to get mad if I missed the long jump pit. You know, if I didn't get 18 out of 20. Well, the funny thing was, because I then went back to see this long jump pit 20 years later, after I'm now a pro, and of course, a long jump pit at school is 8 foot wide and 12 foot long. And I was thinking, bloody hell, no. And I used to get mad if I missed this thing from 80 yards.
It's a hell of a shot.
Yeah, exactly. So look what it's doing to me. Then you go to the practice ground, and I really got into it. So by the time I'm 14, I'm really loving it. So my parents bought me my first half set of golf clubs. So I've now been practicing for 3 months. So then at 14, I played my very first round of golf. And I don't know the rules of golf then, and I know I lost the ball 3 times or something, so I didn't know what that meant. But I only hit the ball 80-odd times. 82 times. She said, so my very first round is decent. I got over...
You shot 82, in essence, the first time you played.
Well, yeah, probably a few...
There are golfers around the world, and maybe in this crowd, that are thinking, what a bastard.
Yeah.
I have played my whole life
and haven't got to...
trying to shoot 82.
Yeah, exactly. So I started with that. By 15, I'm falling in love with the game of golf. I made a decision, I want to be a pro golfer, which is pretty darn cool at 15 to make a decision in your life, right? So I've got a purpose. So by the time at 16, I... asked my parents, because, you know, I'm now completely focused on it. I wasn't playing truant at school, but I obviously wasn't. I mean, you see my school report at 15, and Nick has not suddenly lost interest. He is not paying attention, blah, blah, blah. So I wanted to leave school at 16, which you could do. It's the only way to pursue a career. So this is the amazing bit that my parents did for me. You know, we literally went down to the golf club and spoke to Ian Connolly and said, well, what do we do with this lad? And he says, oh, what a risk to say, well, yeah, I think he's talented. Send him out there. Or whatever. So
at 16?
At 16, I was going to just give up school and go to the practice ground.
I mean, this is a big shove your chips to the middle of the table move by obviously a guy who's bright and who's, you know, who's got a sense of humor and parents who are hardworking. This is a big leap.
Yeah. So at 16, when I left school, I literally went into a routine of every morning I got up and had breakfast at home at 7:30, and I was out the door at 8. So I devised, I'd strapped a piece of wood on my home-built bike so I could lay my clubs on, and strap the clubs on, and I would cycle through the woods to the golf club.
Every day?
Every day, and I'd get there about 8:15 or so, and then off I go down to the range, and I'd hit golf balls. And there's a little pine tree there, and and I used to tip my balls out there, and I had a green. And if you look at modern ranges, how beautiful they are, you think you're deprived because you've only got one green, one bunker. Little did I know that I had one green, one bunker, and one flag, right? So I hit every single shot at this, over this bunker to this flag.
But I even saw with your hands right there. I hit every single shot. I hit a draw.
Exactly.
I hit a fade.
Yeah.
That's interesting because you're almost trying to create shots on one simple hole.
Absolutely. Little did I know, which now, when a sports psychologist now comes, oh my goodness, this was targeting to the nth degree, because every single shot had a purpose. Because if I hit a good one, I want to do it again better. And then when I got really good, I could then hit this. It was only about 8 iron long or 7 irons. But after I could do this with a 2 iron. I could take a 2 iron and hit a tiny little 2 iron on this one. I'd hit them along the ground or whatever. So I did that all morning till 12 o'clock. And then I had my lunch. I used to go in, and I didn't even go in the clubhouse. I used to sit on top of the lockers. And it was hilarious because...
Were you welcome in the clubhouse?
Well, not yet.
You weren't a member?
You weren't. No, I wasn't a member until I got that, but juniors weren't really welcome at all, you know, back in that time. And so I'd eat my lunch in the locker room, and I'd go out, and then I'd putt for whatever, half an hour, around the putting green. Then I'd go and play. Minimum of 27 holes. I mean, I'd keep going till dark, and usually on my own. Well, 9 times out of 10 on my own. And
is that a little foreshadowing to where you get on tour, where you were known as blinders on? Yeah, I may be playing with 3 other guys, 2 other guys, 1 other guy, but I'm alone on this golf course.
Yeah, well, blinkers on, as I call it, head down, blinkers on. Yeah, I had this ability to be totally engrossed in it, which, you know, some people would deem that as advantageous. You know, then that will give you a label. Obviously, in the media, that ends up giving you a label of who you are. Because obviously, I had this ability to be completely engrossed, and I believe that's how Nick Faldo, the golfer, operated best, being completely engrossed in it. So the huge breakthrough for me was Dad then said he'd take me to the Open, to Troon. The Open was at Troon. And we drove up. We had a white VW Beetle, and we loaded it up with our camping gear, and we drove to Troon, which, in the pouring rain, I never forget, raining or what have you.
Why camping gear? Are you going to camp out between the days?
We're going to camp. We're not.
And go to the Open every day.
Yeah, we're going to find the camping field and camp. So we drove into, and I'll never forget, we drove into Troon, and there was Tony Jacklin in his Rolls Royce with Tom Weiskopf, their best player, and they were filling up with gas. Tony's in his purple, his lilac, and Weiskopf's in his Rupert Bear plaid trousers. And then we went off to find this camping site on the side of a hill, you know, freaking wind and rain. And we camped, and I can't remember how we ate or whatever, but I remember it being so cold, even in the day, I kept my pajamas on under my clothes, and I put my clothes over the top of my pajamas. And my dad would drop me off, like, whatever, in the morning, and he'd say, right, I'll see you right here, you know, at 5 o'clock. And I was gone. And I would just go off and disappear. And I'd go run around the golf course, or I'd go to the range.
Did you want to see as many golfers as you could?
Yeah, I went on the range and watched. You know, I watched Jack and Arnold, and I had Miller, Weiskopf, and I had Trevino and Gary Player, right? 6 guys. So I watched them, and so I watched them so I could memorize the little idiosyncrasies, you know. And so when I then came back to Wollongong City, I could mimic them. So I'm watching them on the range, and then I disappear around the back to find our porta johns are called toilets in England. You know, it's a pretty ugly name, isn't it? So there I am in our British loo thing box. It's a big green box, you know. And amazingly, Jack jumps over the fence right in front of me to try and avoid, you know, the fans or whatever to get to the practice ground. So Jack Nicklaus jumps over the fence, and I'm like right in front of him. And so he goes into the loo, and he's only one. We're only 2 of us around. So he goes in there for a couple of minutes and then comes out. So Jack disappears, off he goes. And so I go in this loo, and I'm looking around, and there's nobody around. So what does any 16-year-old boy do? You know, I go down, and I whittle in every single spot, and I say, I've whittled where Jack Nicklaus has whittled.
No way!
Yes. So I can't hit a golf ball like Jack yet, but I thought I can whittle where Jack Nicklaus whittles. So what this did for me, which was amazing, I then went back to Wollongong City. And I would play against these guys. So Jack faded it and Arnold drew it. Miller faded it, Weiskopf drew it, Player drew it, Trevino faded it. So I'd go and play, with my imaginary friends, I'd go and play a 3-ball every afternoon.
Just so they understand, you're by yourself,
yeah,
but you're in your mind,
absolutely,
you're playing the other 2 guys at the time, whoever you're picking, and you're saying, well, I'm playing Jack, so I'm going to draw it, fade it. I'm playing it. And so you're playing all these different shots against your heroes in your mind.
Again, it's the self-taught bit of commitment of a work. Because if I'm saying I'm trying to hit a 3-wood fade and I'm Jack Nicklaus, well, of course Jack Nicklaus is going to hit a great shot, isn't he? So I go in to every shot with the intention, you know, I'm Jack Nicklaus, he's going to knock it on the green. Sure, it may not go on the green, but you go in with the right intention. So again, it's teaching me this. We fast forward again, sports psychology, go, oh my goodness, this is visualization to the best. And I thought this was really unique to me. And now here we are 40 years on, and I now interviewed Jack. And he said, well, I spent time with Byron Nelson. I went, you know, his coach sent him to Byron. And he said, so I spent time with Byron, so the next tournament I pretend I'm Byron Nelson. Then he spent time with Sam Snead. And I went, hang on, time out. I said, I did that. I thought I was special. Get me? You mimic your heroes. I mean, it's such a powerful thing.
But you had to be so solitary because at the time, not only have you left school, but all your buddies, you know, they're doing their own thing. Yeah. You're over here.
My best mate, Steve Ellis, you know, was like, he was going off to be a plumber. And literally, and I literally head off, I'm going off to the golf course. So it was almost the end of friendships as well. I disappeared into a different world, a completely different world, trying to be a golfer. So the end thing was to come to America. We came, and Coach Williams was at University of Houston. Suddenly I'm going to class, which affected my practice time, didn't like that. And we used to have to run from class, quick lunch. A couple of guys had cars, and we had to drive to golf courses, which was 45 minutes, and we'd go straight to the first tee and play. No warm-up, anything. And it was coaches qualifying, all this sort of thing. So I got fed up of that. And so I then went in his office. I said, I'm out of here. I'm going home now. He said, you're homesick. I said, no, I'm not. So I'm just going home. You miss your girlfriend? No, I just want to go. so that was it. I left after 10 weeks.
So you go home, and at 19, you make your pro debut.
Yeah, my club gave me £500, and my dad gave me another £500. And back in those days, you know, your whole expenses for the week would be like £112 sort of thing. That would include everything, hotel and caddy, everything. And I'd gone off and I'd played badly.
It's a lose. If you go play badly,
I remember him being
you really lose.
I remember him being very, he was down the end of the garden, very upset. You know, it was 112 quid. It was an awful lot of money to him, you know, an awful lot of money. And then I went to Nigeria, and I won big money. I came home, I'd gone for 10 days. I came back with $1,200 for 10 days, and in cash, and spread it on the dining room table. Yeah, and pushed this money around, because it's $1,200 in cash.
Who's at the table?
Just mum and dad, you know, just going, this was the start of making, and that was early '77. And then I start playing better, and I start finishing third and all sorts of winning and winning.
So you're obviously a goal guy.
So the first goal was to be a pro golfer. I've already done that. Now I'm a pro. Then I want to be on tour. Top 60, I make it 58. Then I want to make the Ryder Cup team. In 1977, it's only my first full year, so I'm actually technically a rookie. And I finish 8th in our order of merit, and I make the Ryder Cup team. I'm the youngest at 20, and I make the...
Who'd you beat?
With
Who'd you beat in that Ryder Cup?
Well, I beat everybody. It was great.
Right.
So day one, I played with Peter House, my partner, which was great. We played Lou Graham and Ray Floyd day one, beat them. Next day, I'm playing Big Jack and Ray Floyd. So this is the first time I'm obviously going to play against him. And I was long in those days. I had a Ardilla graphite shafted thing with about this much torque in it. You know, you could twist it, and a Tony Penner head. And I was long with this thing. So I hit this thing down the 4th, and I'm 20 yards past Jack. And I'm standing there looking forward, and I can feel his eyes are in the back of my head. And I was thinking, and he's looking at me, and I look back, and he's in a bright red cardigan he had on, and this sort of thing. So, long story short, I beat him 2-1. And then I played Watson the next day, who was Open champion, and I beat him 1-up. So I've only been playing golf for 6 years, and I've just beat Nicklaus and Watson at the Ryder Cup. And from the outside, because they're going, oh, God, this is the wonder kid, the 1 in a million kid, and, you know, they either like me or don't like me. And
that's
so,
already entering, it's already entering the picture?
Exactly.
This kid thinks he's better than everybody else.
Well, I think I was quietly confident. I mean, you get more and more confident. You learn, I mean, self-belief is another huge thing you have to have. It, you would know. Every sportsman you meet, any guy who's at his best has got, you've got to have that much self-belief. Whatever you're doing. There's a sabotage button in your mind. If you don't believe, you know, you've got to have it. And that's the most wonderful thing, to go and play a sport when you believe that you're as good as the sport.
Your goals, top 60, make the Ryder Cup.
So, like I was explaining. Then I wanted to be a multiple winner on tour. Then I wanted to be European #1. Yes, you know, all these things happen. Then I wanted to win majors. And it's all about comfort, isn't it? Because I listen to guys talking, and if you're not comfortable climbing the ladder, if you're not comfortable going to the next stage, you ain't gonna get there. If some guy goes, yeah, I can win this week, or the other guy gives you a frickin' 2 minutes answer, going round the houses, he doesn't actually say, well, he's not gonna win, is he? But if the guy goes, yeah, I can win this week, he's got more likely to ever get me.
Why? Why are you doing all this?
Number one, it was a passion of the game. I love competing. I love everything about golf. I love the practicing. You know, every single shot is a goal. You know, when you hit a really good, even on my Wellingarn City range, when I hit a wedge to here, if the members are watching, I try to hit one inside it. So every single shot is a goal in the game of golf. But when you finally get out there on tour and you learn to compete and you want to win, and back in my era, you had to win to make a difference to your lifestyle. If you wanted a bigger house, better car, all that sort of thing for your family, you had to win to make a difference. I won 5 times in 1983 to win £100,000, which is $160,000. 106, get me? 5 times I won to do that.
So in 1983, you're competitive, you have a shot at the Open Championship, which it's the British Open, the Open Championship. 84, the Masters, you're there, but you don't get it done in the end.
Nick Faldo starts the final day in contention, but drops a shot at the first and misses the fairway at the second. His bid to bring the Open back to Britain seems to be over before it's even started.
And the British press, which can be nasty, nicknames you El Faldo. Because you come close, don't win, come close, don't win in these majors. El Faldo. What did seeing that do to you?
Well, it was a tough era. The 80s were an amazing era with the media. But I would take a quote and chop it up and portray you as something completely different. That's what they did. They did a good job on that. I mean, everybody thinks I'm a dick, you know. And that's what they did. They wanted me to be the bad guy. They had Sandy Lyle as the good guy. They wanted me. And it's unbelievable how if you pull up quotes from other famous sportsmen, the Ian Bothams, we know, great cricketers, or Seb Coe, you know him, athletic. You see, somewhere along the line, we've all said, I never said that. There'd be quotes in the papers, and we weren't even freaking well there, let alone said it, get me? So they'd make stuff up for years, and we never did anything about it. I mean, now you have PR and all sorts of things. I asked one of our leading presenters, came to my house, and I said, look, I need some advice on how to handle the media. And I said, do I get PR? And he said, if you have PR, they'll murder you. If they know you're being PR-driven. Well, now it's a standard thing for an athlete to have PR machine behind
them. But if you hire PR back then they know it's bothering you.
And the next day they go, tell us about your 67. You're like, off.
Right.
If you don't mind, yeah.
If you hear he's a dick, he's a dick, he's a dick, did you ever look in the mirror and go, am I a dick?
Beg your pardon?
Yeah. You know what I mean, though?
Every morning I stand naked in front of the mirror. I like to start the day with a good laugh. So no, I've never... No, I think you go the other way. You have to then learn that what you do, you believe you're doing is right. You have to say to yourself, I did the best I could today. I did my best. When you're playing great, you know, you've got the media like that. You really have.
But when you trip...
Oh, geez.
They are going to pound you as you're falling.
And they want to, because they just, it's very, very British to say, oh, here, look at him now, he'll get his comeuppance one day, you know. You know.
Let me ask you this. So, they say El Faldo. You have come close, but you haven't won a major. Then you go through this major swing change. You hired David Ledbetter. Something, was it the swing? I've seen your early swing. You're a pretty standard guy.
It was a good swing. It was very 70s, very long, long arms. You know, it had a lot of lag and this sort of thing.
Well, there's Ledbetter there.
Drag and lag and all this sort of
That's like an early hinge? Is that, what is he teaching you?
Setting the wrist, dear boy.
Setting
it. You know, in hindsight, it was the most stupid thing ever to do. You know, mid-season, changing a swing, and you're working on a backswing, and you haven't got a downswing. And I was rehearsing these such exaggerated moves to try and learn to get my arms to rotate. And so my game just went woof very quickly. And that was really tough. So
you call these your wilderness years, because it took 2 years?
The dark years or the dark days or whatever, that was brutal, because I'm now playing lousy. I'm practicing like a lunatic. Go to the tournament and you're over par or whatever, you're missing cut, you're making minuscule checks, or if anything. I lost sponsors. You know, my income went whoosh. Playing lousy at the Open at 85, you know, Sandy Lyle then wins the Open, because I wanted to be the first Englishman since Tony to win an Open, and Sandy wins it, so nothing's good. I played the Ryder Cup in 85, and I played lousy, so I wasn't part of that celebration.
So this whole world is collapsing.
So in 87, I wasn't even in the Masters, all right? And Jill flew over, and I met her at Atlanta, and that was really hurt me, because all the media and other players had flown into Atlanta for the Masters, and they all turned left and went to Augusta National, and I've turned right and went to Hattiesburg to play when the B events, right?
I mean, that's as low as it gets, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, wow, that hit me. And
nothing against Hattiesburg, but you want to go to Augusta.
I want to go, sure, you want to go. I've been there before, and you want to, and so basically I went off to, and unfortunately, we'd just been working with Len, and we'd found this famous little move to drop the thing down, and I could now hit a fade, and it was going good. And I went to Hattiesburg, and I shot 467s and finished second, and that was it. And that was the clicking point. I then came back to Europe, and played, and I won the Spanish Open in May of 87. And then I said to myself, I need to win one more before the Open, because I'm going to win the Open. And I went, nah, I'm all right. I don't have to win another one. Honest. And so off we go to Muirfield. You know our big giant yellow scoreboards at the Open Championship, and I walked up the first fairway, and there was a big board empty that just said, welcome to Muirfield. And I looked up, and then I saw Faldo at the top of the board. There's no name, obviously.
You visualized.
I just saw it, Faldo, and I put my head down, and I went, I'm all right, I can handle that. And off I went. And then I opened with 3 straight birdies and shot 5 under for the opening 2 rounds in yucky weather. And we were down at the Marine Hotel, and I was like, don't bother packing. I said, we'll be sitting here having breakfast, and we'll be on, and the BBC will be there. I'll be having my Monday morning breakfast, BBC, with the claret jug on the table.
You know you're going to win.
Well, I don't know. That's what I'm seeing. Get me? That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that's what I can see. This is what's going to happen. And off we go off and play, and that.
Here you are, a shot back going into the final round. Is that sabotage button reachable for you back there?
No. That day was incredible, because I was in the, we called it, then you call it cocoon. Tony Jacklin called it cocoon, so I call it cocoon. Now we call it in the zone. So that was the moment when you're on that putting green as a kid with all those, this to win the Open. I'm now looking at this thinking, and I looked at the leaderboard, and Roger Dacus was in at 4, and I thought, I said, you've got to hold it. That means you just got to hold it. If you want to win this, you've got to hold it.
Oh, a smooth stroke. And the relief on his face.
Nick Faldo will be crowned the champion. So many others had chances. But at the end of the week, there was just the one winner, Nick Faldo from England.
I got over that putt, and it was great. I stood over that, and as I took it back, the little voice went, yes, The little boy said yes in my mind, and it went in. I think, thank God he didn't say no. I wouldn't be sitting here, you know. So it took me 9 years to get there, and it was just sheer relief. It was just like, I've done it. I finally won the Open.
What'd your parents say?
Oh, poor things. They can't talk about it, you know. They couldn't handle it. You know, I knew to get me eventually.
Yeah.
No, they just struggled with that. When I got back home, I was back at the house, and you know, my poor dad was outside, and he didn't know how to come in and hug me.
You come close the next year at the U.S. Open.
Same thing. I said to Jill, don't pack. I'll be in the playoff tomorrow. And I didn't have a bloody shirt. I had to wear a yellow shirt, and I hated a yellow shirt. I had to wear a yellow bloody shirt.
That's all you had left.
All I had left. Only clean shirt I had left. That's why I lost the playoff. I had to wear a yellow bloody shirt. Thought I was chicken. I thought it was, you know, yellow colour is a chicken's colour, isn't it? Yellow belly, yellow whatever. So,
that's awesome. So
yeah,
basically, you're packing 4 gamers. In baseball, they call it, this is my gamer.
Now I need a 5th one. It wasn't there. But, you know, that was a shame, because I got close to the US Open. Would have loved to have, because that was really right up my street, the US Open course. And then...
What would that have meant for you as a British kid to win the United States Championship?
Absolutely, yeah.
You never did it?
No, I got close about 3 times. So, yeah, when you look at your career and think, cool, I wouldn't have minded 3 of them as well. But didn't happen. But, you know, you gave your best. You believe you gave your best all the time.
But, man, if you're going to win here...
Yeah.
You win at Augusta.
Oh, you win at Augusta. Augusta's the biggest event. Now, back in that era, the Open was definitely the biggest. And then, but now, this generation, this era we're in now, the Masters is the biggest tournament in the world by miles. It's huge. And so, in '89, I'm now playing really well. Jack's there. So I thought, I'll get a glimpse. How you doing? I said, well, Jack, you know, I'm playing great, but I said, I don't know whether to let it happen or make it happen. So he says, I know what you mean. And carries on putting and walks off. I'm like, hello, fill in the blank space. You know, which one is it? So obviously I say to myself, obviously I let it go, and I'm after 27 holes, I'm 6 under and I'm leading. I'm going down the 10th fairway. I might be leading by 3. I'm not sure. And then I started thinking about it and trying to make it happen. And I then played the next 27 holes in 9 over. So now I've just shot 77. I was actually in tears coming down the 17th hole because I screwed it up so much. And I came in and I saw the tee times come out, and I looked at them and I thought, come on, you can beat this lot, you know. So I went back to the club, went back and had a different putter now. So I thought you had to win with a bullseye. Everybody seemed to win with a good old bullseye.
Just the old thing from a putt golf course.
Yeah, well, it's a bit better than that. It's
but it's pretty. But it's pretty bare bones.
Yeah, it's simple. Got this up and went on the putting green. I thought, oh, that felt good. On the back of the 16th green, so the ball is here and the hole is just there, only 15 feet there. It doesn't look like it on TV, but I felt like, or I was aiming 12 feet left on a 15-foot putt. I'm aiming over there, and I hit this thing. And it goes in. Can't believe it. Go to 17, and it's starting to rain. I slap this thing up the hill. In it goes again. And you can see my face. It's just like, OK. So now I'm in the playoff. And got Hoax, got 2-footer. And they put the camera on my face. You can see it now. It's proof, because I didn't move. I just standing there like this. And I honestly said to myself, I said, I can still win this. I said, but it bloody doesn't look very good right now.
You're right.
You know?
I mean, he's got 2 feet to win.
Yeah, 2 feet to win. And he misses it. And then it was like, wow. And so we go down 11. I bogeyed the 11th hole 4 days in a row in regulation. Every day I bogeyed it.
The 11th hole there is a nasty little hole.
Brute. Well, it's got nasty, you know. But nowadays it was wide open fairway, so hit this thing down the right, and the rain is coming down. It's getting really dark. And I nailed a 3-iron. I hit a 3-iron that I couldn't believe it. And I saw this thing draw. My caddy, Andy Prodge, who was a good old Watford boy from England, you know, comes. I said, hey, Prodge, what do you think of this one? And he says, cool, all looks a bit of a blur to me, Gov.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, so I said, all right, you get down the other end of the flag then. So he gets it. So I got over that putt, and my swing thoughts were really technical that week. It was left, take it back with the left hand, hit it with the right hand. I just said left. I was squeezing it like this. I said, cool, let go of it.
Oh, my
and
God.
yeah, honest, I said, right, left, right. And I went, whack. And it...
Ah!
Good speed. Oh, what a way to do it. He'd had 4 5s at this hole, and we did say on the tee what a moment it would be if he got a birdie, and he did. And he is the champion for 1989.
What did this stamp of validate? What did this mean to you?
Well, that was huge. I mean, imagine that's now you win a second major. I mean, every time you win a major, it's just, or every time you win a tournament, you always used to say, oh, that's nice. Nice to know I can still do it. So that was just, you know, you're on a roll. You're thinking, that was what it was all about.
You come back the next year at Augusta again.
So I got my knickers in a twist, you know, thinking like defending at the Masters. And then luckily, like the month before, I said, no, let's go and win another one. So I got on the right mental train. I started reasonable, nothing great. But then day 3, I know I shot 66, day 3. And then we come out day 4, and I'm playing with Jack. So I thought, wow, this is a bit of an omen, because he was the only man to have won back-to-back Masters. Now I'm playing with him. We should say, what ball are you playing? And I says, well, I'm playing Titleist 1. And Jack says, I'm playing Titleist 1. I'll change.
Hey, right, you're looking at him like you or me.
Okay, give me a 4 or something. So I took a 4, and I thought...
Are you superstitious at all?
Probably, yes. I'm sure that it broke the pattern or something. So I took 6 up the first, hit it in the bunker, knocked it out on the green 3 putt. So I'm sure from the outside, it's like, if I was in the commentary tower, I'd say, done, you know, that's him finished. So, but somehow I went to the second, and I said, I've got to make 4 down to second. So I made 4. And off we went, and da-da-da-da-da. And we get to the 12th hole, and...
The very famous 12th.
Par 3. We both hit it on the green, and I said, God, thank goodness we don't play this hole every day of the week, you know. And Jack goes, yeah, I've been playing it for 32 years. And so I said, well, that's older than me, Jack, you know. So,
right.
You know, so
Old
anyway,
man.
So now I've got the playoff against Ray Floyd. And then I said to myself, I'm not putting my jacket on him. That was my motivation. I said, I am not putting my jacket on Ray Floyd, you know. So I went down that hole. I remember saying to myself, bloody hell, he's hit it already. And I saw this thing turning in the air, and boom, he's in the pond. And I went, bloody hell, what's he done? And then you start thinking, I'm trying to work out what can he make. So he's going to drop it, chip it, he's going to make a 5. So how do I make a 4? So pretty... So, yeah,
it's about as simple as sports can get.
Well, yeah, it's weird. And then so I hit this wonderful little 8-iron half shot right at the flag. And then I'm putting, and I lagged it with the mega lag, you know, like an inch behind the hole. And I've won again. And that was like unbelievable. You know, then that was real emotion. I've got everybody's in tears around it. And, you know, that was obviously amazing to win the second time and be only to Jack to defend the Masters was amazing feeling.
The quote on the wall, the word is control. That's my ultimate, to have control.
Yeah.
This seems to fit so many different parts of your life.
Well, I think that came probably when I went to St Andrews in 1990. You know, I just won the Masters. And it was the most wonderful feeling when you're playing that well. How nice is that to go to an Open and go, I can shoot level 67s here. It's great saying it 25 years later, because if you said that at the time, they'd say, what a dick.
Right.
Wouldn't they? But, you know, now, you know, go, oh, it all came true. But honestly, that's how I felt with my game. And to play this game and have, you know, that, to me, what it was all about, that you practiced so darn hard that when you went and teed it up, you knew how it's what they all do. Jack's had it, Tiger's had it, these boys have got it, Jordan, Rory, Jason. When you walk out on their first tee and you know you're going to have a great day, that's what a feeling.
Fast forward to 1992, and of all these shots that we've heard you talk about, you call your approach shot at 18.
At Muirfield, yeah.
At Muirfield in 1992.
That's the best shot.
Sunday, at the British Open.
Yeah.
The best shot you ever hit.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Why?
I'd started with a 4-shot lead and I blew it. So
here comes El Faldo again.
Yeah, so this would have been my scar, to be leading the Open, world #1 now, and 4 in the lead, blah, 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 and blowing it. That would have been it. And I said, just forget everything. Forget the whole week, everything. And then I come to 18, and I now got a 3-iron, 4 to win. And I got over that thing. And that's when everything becomes automatic. And I just kept saying to just take it away. If I can just get it moving, if I can just get the club to there, just get it to, and I took it away. And I'm glad you're going to show it, because you watch my chest after the shot.
I saw the same thing.
Watch my chest.
Like you're hyperventilating.
Yeah. Look at that. Took the paintwork off the flag. So I just got a 2-putt the darn thing, and yeah, it was a funny little ski slope at the back of that green, and because the ball was sitting up, and I hit it a little high, and it came out a bit funny, but because it just wandered down, it was finished a foot, and I tapped it in, and you saw me, I broke down, because it was the first time I've ever, as I said, I thought I'd have blown it, I'd have screwed up. I was on the knife edge of winning and losing that one.
I feel like you're even semi-emotional now thinking of those last 4 holes.
Well, I do. I get like that because, hey, when you play with, that's a real passionate moment, isn't it? Fortunately, I won't ever forget that. Anything you do in your life with emotion, that's going to stick with you.
Why such a good Ryder Cup player? You're the best Ryder Cup player, almost like the Triple Crown. The most Ryder Cups.
Yeah.
The most matches, the most points. Here's this solitary Sir Nick Faldo, who then gets into the team competition. Why does that register with you?
Because the team bit, my argument, the team is a team of 2. It's not a team of 12. It's you and your partner taking on the other guys. So I loved it because match play is the ultimate in present time. We always talk about stay in the present, don't we? Well, match play is it. So what are you doing? I want to hit that fairway. So you hit it down the fairway. Now you stand to the second shot. What am I doing? Well, I'm trying to hit this 6-iron to here. And it doesn't. It goes off the green. And now you look at the chip shot. What are you trying to do? Hole it. Doesn't. It goes this far past. So that means have I got this putt for the win or the half? It's all factual. Simple as that. And so every shot I loved it. I got so engrossed in it. I could play. It was awesome to see guys in tears of joy and sorrow giving their all.
I can't do an interview with you and not ask you about 1996, winning the Masters. Does it bother you that victory for you is known more for Greg Norman not finishing instead of you shooting a brilliant 67 to win?
No, not at all, because I know that, and we all know, the race is from the first tee to the 72nd green in golf, and I know I shot 12 under par. Because Augusta's Augusta, and we've seen history there, we've seen guys win from 3 back, and we've seen guys lose with a 3-shot lead with 3 to play. So he knew that 3 was the magic number, so I kept saying, get within 3, and let's see what happens. And I got within 3 after, I said, do it after 9. Sure enough, after 9, I'm within 3, and we all know what happened. Greg unravels. But I still had to play golf. I'm still sitting on the top of that hill at number 11. I've still got to hit the freaking thing on the green. It's like nobody says, oh, it's all yours, mate, carry on. No, you still got to play. And, when your stomach's churning on the 12, trying to hit that green, you've still got to pull the club back. So, so I'm very proud of that day because even I would stand there and go, all right, the wheels are going to come off. No, they're not. No, they're not. Come on. And I'd walk myself through each shot mentally, and I clawed my way through it.
I would imagine for you, as now you're in your late 50s, in your lifetime there was one moment that happened to this boy who left school after seeing Jack Nicklaus walking around Augusta, whose parents supported him in every step of the way, who let him be his own man. You get knighted.
Oh, well, yeah.
You give your tickets, or they give their tickets to your children.
Oh, yeah, we had quite a day, yeah.
Your mom and dad are not there. but you go to dinner
Oh,
afterward.
yeah.
And your
Yeah.
dad at that dinner grabs you by the face, and it could make me cry. And he says to you, what?
He said, "You've been such a lovely boy." So,
From the other side of the track,
yeah,
who
exactly.
rode his bike across
Yeah.
town to hit balls, and your dad, in one simple sentence, gives you all the validation
Yeah,
you need.
I know. It was very sweet. As we said, we were never the big huggy style, but that's impossible to fathom, isn't it? That your lad is about to go and get knighted. It's a big thing in Britain. To be knighted in Britain for a common man, you know, is the highest honor we can get. It's amazing because it's so British. It's wonderful.
It may be British,
Yeah.
but father to boy
Yeah,
doesn't
I
know,
can't.
knows no country.
To have this one lad and he ends up there at Windsor Castle being knighted. It's a different world.
I like to ask on this show, what's next?
What's next is same old, right? As I always ask the golfers, you know, the TV schedule is huge this year for me. I've had such good feedback for the last year or so that, you know, I think that's helped my confidence to try and be a bit more of an entertainer. And you're right, I always think of my dad because he was, as I say, the theatrical side was in him. So, you know, I think there's a bit of it inside me still.
Well, let's see. Fun questions.
Oh.
Would you rather babysit a non-stop crying infant for a day or have an unwanted house guest for a week?
I'd take the baby.
Less time.
I think I could turn a baby around, yeah. I think I could bounce it around and stop it crying, yeah. Just shock them. You go, oh, there's an alligator. And they go, whoa. Worked every time.
Poor Natalie and the rest of them.
Yeah.
Would you rather have to sew all your clothes or grow all your food?
Oh, I think I'd grow all my food now, I think, yeah. Sewing, just because my mum, no, that's boring, isn't it? Sewing, I could sew a blooming button on, that's about it. Have to iron my own shirts for TV.
We all do. People don't know that. They think it's all
lifestyle
like...
of rich and famous, isn't
No,
it?
yeah,
Amazing that we're in there bloody...
we're all
We're on in
hoping that
2
when we-
hours, but I got to
Yeah.
get it. We only iron this bit, you see.
Yeah, I mean-
That's all.
Swear to God.
Yeah.
You put the jacket on, you could have anything.
That's what I say. I'm not going to see this bit, so I
No.
just do that much, and that's it. I'm ready.
Here's where you got to. He got to a 6-time major champion. He got to the World Golf Hall of Fame. And he got to being introduced as Sir Nick Faldo. Ladies and gentlemen, an undeniable icon, Sir Nick Faldo. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Up we go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Standing O.
Thank you.